Arr, shiver me timbers, and can you knock it off there, my parrot companion? Or Kazooie, to be more precise. Excuse me. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I am back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64/Xbox Live Arcade for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So, last time we have managed to able to 100% through everything in terms of Mumbo's Mountain. No, it's a pretty simple, easy world, because obviously it's the very first world in the game. So today for this episode in particular is the fact that we are moving on to the second world in Banjo-Kazooie. That will have to be by the forms of Treasure Trove Cove. And let me tell you, I'm actually really looking forward to this world, mainly because, first of all, the music is so atmospherically pleasing to listen to, and also is the fact that we ended up on a sunny beach environment. So either way though, I think to me though, this is probably my second favorite world in the game. Clearly it's because of the forms of the music and everything. So either way though, yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to able to actually just to, well, go into this world in particular. So, and it's kind of surprising because either way though, since that we've almost at the forms of the summer season, well, mind you, though we're still on the forms of May already, so either way though, you probably expect it by this point. So, here's the next boss right here, which appears to be Nipper, the Hermit crab, if you want to be more specific. And basically, all you have to do in this particular boss fight, some sort of a boss fight, is that we're gonna be able to keep on, you know, attack its head by simply able to actually just let Kazooie get its beak on him. So, again, it's usually 3 times, just like the forms of Clunker, but except the fact that rather than just using the actual, the blue eggs and all that stuff. So, either way though. And by the way, if you manage to able to beat this boss, if you're actually able to first time playing the game on the Xbox Live Arcade version, or the Xbox One, or Xbox Series X, basically you get one of those achievements, because yes, the Xbox 360 version does have achievements, so yeah, something's worth noting for. And by the way, if you keep on like, dang it, I was hoping for no hits, but oh well, beggar sales can't be choosers, I suppose, but oh well, no big deal. But I digress. Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of swimming involved during the forms of this world, along with the forms of the third world, which I'll talk more about that during in this first day. So yeah, today's day is of course the 18th of May today, in this case in 2021, and it looks like that we've almost there to the forms that at the end of May, while we're able to get on to the forms of the biggest month of the year, which is of course June. So this means about the fact that we're gonna be hyped for, well, you know what I mean, E3 announcements, and especially noticeable for more game announcements, and you name the rest. So I'm really hyped about this, especially noticeable how the fact that, in fact, let me know in the comments below, for the question of the day, are you still excited in terms of the forms of E3 2021 digital event? Because I surely, hell yeah. Especially noticeable because obviously it's been about, you know, 2 years since the last E3, despite the previous E3's been cancelled. So because of that though, let's not mention about that, you know, that thing ever again, because we just simply moved on, and especially noticeable, this is actually, you know, an okay year so far. So either way though, and I believe this world does contain 2 new moves. So in this case, we have ourselves the forms of, well, as far as I like to call this, is the forms of that shock jump. So because of this though, if you manage to able to hop onto these little discs. However, before we get into that, let me just take care of this particular bucket here, which in order to do this, you need to fill up 2 blue eggs from behind from that bucket. So, and if you do that, basically you can now able to actually access to the sandcastle right here. And basically, this will actually give us another objective, which appears to be some sort of like a puzzle element to the mix. So, yeah, speaking of E3 2021, remember what I said, remember what Tiana has mentioned about this before? Ever since during the forms of in Mario Party 4, Let's Play. Actually, I'll get to more on that later, because as you can tell, the main emphasis on this objective is that technically another boss fight, assuming so, that basically all you have to do is basically we need to spell out Banjo-Kazooie, as was shown on here on the wall, and basically that you're gonna have to able to get the correct spelling within a time limit. So thankfully you do have a lot of time to work with, especially noticeable because, well, until whenever we get towards the very end of the game, then, oh man, it will be something interesting happens or something like that. I have no idea. I know it has been a couple of days since I actually did manage to get back into the recording sessions on this since last Thursday. I mean, let's face it though, it's the fact that I'm still really gonna be hyped until specifically next month. So, anyway, so now we're able to solve that, and all we have to do is basically we need to take down this little red hermit crab right there. And then after when you're done with them, then you would able to obtain a Jiki. So, yeah, pretty self-explanatory, and you name the rest. So, yeah, I don't find that to be that much of an issue with this particular objective right there. So, yeah, anyway, yeah, like what, I suppose that Tiana has mentioned about this before, about the fact that expecting that Sega will able to actually make it appear during the course of E3 2021, which is specifically this year. Turns out that, well, it is confirmed that Sega is actually participating in this year's E3, so expecting to be hyped, especially noticeable that we might potentially gonna get ourselves, well, I don't know about the forms of the Sonic games though, because unfortunately though, for new games alike, it will not be released until 2022. You know, it's kind of like the same thing for how it did in terms of Sonic Mania, alongside with Sonic Forces, back in the forms of, well, they first announced it back in 2016, if I recall correctly, but then eventually they'll get the release date from it by specifically, oh dear lord, I somehow almost screwed up, but thankfully I did manage to make it for that specific jump, and eventually when you pull this off with that little shock jump, then you were able to get, what else? Another Jiki. So, awesome and top-notch as well, specifically with all these, you know, movesets like this. Okay, quick go right there, because I somehow managed to able to get interrupted by, well, let's just say Shadow, talking of a devil, Shadow the Hedgehog, because he's actually getting slightly ticked off when it comes to the forms of, like, everything else around the world. But luckily though, we are getting there, so because of this though, let's not worry about that right now. So, yeah, I digress. Meaning about the fact that he constantly keeps on using Chaos Spear or Chaos Blast right in front of my face. Although, unfortunately though, Silver got injured or anything else to be more specific, so hopefully he'll be feeling better by then. So, anyway. And, oh yeah, this we come across into ourselves these red feathers, which that can be used for the likes of the latest move. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Yeah, I really love the music in this place. Even then though, I always attempt to able to put this on my, top 10, favorite sunny, beach soundtracks in any other video games to be. So, even then though, I was very pleasantly surprised about the fact that, if you remember from the likes of our Let's Play of My Little Pony no, not Rainbow Runners, Harmony Quest, that was the theme that we actually did use in the 5th part, so if you guys want to check it out, then more power to you, because even then though, that since we've done that Let's Play ever since in 2018, I'm not exactly sure if we might able to do the redo Let's Play of Rainbow Runners, mainly it's because of a few number of things. For one, I found the commentary gets a bit iffy at points, and also the same applies to the forms of how the fact that, well, I just get the feeling that we don't get that much enough views, unlike the ones in Harmony Quest, that we seemed able to get a ton of views, mainly it's because of the forms of our music choices that we actually did manage to add it in. So either way though, I guess that might actually get a little bit more. It's kind of hard to say about this right now, just because, well, at the moment, I'm gonna have to focus on the forms of this particular exploration at the moment. So, Yeah, I digress. And another thing is worth mentioning for is the fact that I don't suppose that Tiana, along with Maxi, hasn't mentioned about this during the forms of their Let's Plays of Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy, along with Mario Party 4. Recently, Nintendo has just announced another brand new game, which appears to be by the forms of some sort of like a construction kind of game, you know, just like in the forms of how it does it on Nintendo Labo and Super Mario Maker 2, along with Minecraft or anything else like that. But it's actually kind of interesting because you remember the forms of Project Dreams from the likes of the PlayStation systems, mainly with PlayStation 4 and possibly PlayStation 5 for backwards compatibility or something. But chances are that Nintendo is actually doing their own, well, they make themselves their very own version of the actual making your own game. But this time around, it calls it Game Builder Garage, which meaning about the fact that you can actually create your own games and just trying to share it across the world. So it's kind of similar to Super Mario Maker or Project Dreams as of now. So because of this though, the only differences between the Sony version compared to the forms of the Nintendo version is that, well, from what I can tell is the fact that from what I've seen of gameplay footage, well, obviously they're now able to actually interact with the forms of, well, it's kind of hard to say, because I know it has been a couple of days since I actually known about this for sake of time, and, also, due to the fact that, usually relatively speaking, is the fact that the Game Builder Garage, that's, specifically in America, and I think possibly Japan as well, although I may be wrong, that, both of those countries will not only get themselves the game digitally, but also, physically as well. Sadly though, in the European version doesn't, so because of this though, the only thing we can only get is digital only, so yeah, it is very similar to Yooka-Laylee for the Nintendo Switch, so because of that though, I wasn't too surprised about that, so oh well, no big deal. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next objective, which basically we need to obtain 2 stack of these gold bars, because apparently the one of those characters is actually upset, so because of that though, we need to retrieve those gold bars for treasure, for able to actually deliver them to that little Captain Hippo looking fella. So, but either way though, but again, I don't know exactly what his name is though, because it has been quite a long time since I actually played this though, so because of this though, yeah, I think that's pretty much about it, so oh yeah, one thing you should probably notice is the fact that with these swimming controls in this game, is that, keep that in mind, is that if you're ever able to press the X button, basically you swim a little bit further forward, but if you manage to able to hold down the A button, basically you have more control of your direction, so I highly suggest you're able to do that if you're trying to able to escape, you know, those narrow portions of the actual underwater section. So because of that though, yeah, best advice for doing that, so anyway though, another thing I should probably explain about this as well. Recently, I managed able to get myself not 1, but 2 new Game Boy Color games, as in the cartridge versions of those games. One of them involves around, well, golf, and the other one involves tennis. Meaning is obviously Mario Golf and Mario Tennis, which actually features role-playing games as well. Meaning about the fact that you weren't able to take control of your one of those characters, the human characters and all that stuff though. I do miss those days, whatever they did manage to did those RPG elements very, very nicely in the forms of not only for the one on the Game Boy Color, but also the one on the Game Boy Advance as well. In fact, I might try to able to play Advanced Tour on my own time, just to able to get used to with the actual the main mechanics of Advanced Tour. Although from what I've heard, it's like a mini version of Toadstool Tour, or I still need to able to obtain the Game Boy Advance cable link until whenever I try to able to unlock 4 other characters. Well, specifically the Mario characters, which there are. Well, you start the game off with with Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and Donkey Kong, obviously. But the other 4 characters you need to unlock is Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and Bowser. So hopefully I might also get the Game Boy Advance cable link, so that way I can able to unlock these other 4 characters on the Game Boy Advance you know, role-playing RPG kind of golf game and stuff like that. So, but hopefully not now though, just because I'm still saving up for you know, other stuff in mind, like, you know, Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and you probably named the rest. In addition with those predictions for upcoming titles in the future, so yeah, expecting to be hyped until, specifically as I said, until next month. So, God knows until whenever we're able to celebrate it, so again, we'll find out until then. So, yeah, anyway, and as for Mario Golf on the Game Boy Color, although I still need to able to actually get ourselves the N64 transfer pack, which allows me to able to actually just to transfer certain things. You know, the forms of Pokemon Stadium, that game does have heavily utilizes the forms of the N64 transfer pack, that if you get yourselves your Pokemon on specifically the Game Boy Pokemon games, you know, on Generation 1 and Generation 2. Well, Generation 1 for Pokemon Stadium 1, and, well, obviously Game Boy Color Pokemon games for, you know, Pokemon Stadium 2, that you can able to actually just to train them on your Game Boy systems, and if you manage to able to level up those Pokemon well enough, then you would able to actually just to participate in the Pokemon battles in 3D. So that's why I get the feeling that the next few purchases in the future, I might decide to try to get the forms of the Game Boy Advance Cable Link and the forms of the N64 transfer pack, because as far as I'm aware, certain characters have been unlocked with these N64 transfer packs as well. For I would say in Mario Tennis, for the Game Boy Color, does require the N64 transfer pack if you really want to unlock the rest of the characters. Like, I think there is Yoshi, Wario, Waluigi, and Bowser. So it's kind of similar to the forms of Mario Golf Advanced Tour, except rather than participating in golf, so instead we actually participate in tennis. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. And there's also another reason why that I managed able to, oh jeez Louise, I almost gonna lose my life right there. But thankfully we managed able to, you know, deal with the actual Hermit crap right there. And oh yeah, there's a giant X marks the spot. And basically, if you manage to ground pound the X right here, basically the treasure will pop up. And basically, if you do manage to try to like take down the treasure, then you would able to obviously get yourselves, wait for it, a Jiggy inside. So yeah, awesome, swell stuff. So I think we've got about 3 Jiggies left, and also some quite a few musical notes left. So even then though, that, yeah, we're pretty much almost done with Treasure Trove Cove. So even then though, I'm actually kind of surprised about that. So we actually did manage to briefly win for this quite ridiculously fast, because after all, I'm the fastest blue hedgehog in the world. So expecting that we might able to actually just try to rush things or something like that. I have no idea. But anyway, let's ground pound here, and you do realize there's another Jiggy inside that little booby treasure for that treasure trap thingy right there. And basically it's the fact that you're gonna have to able to time your jumps correctly, because otherwise if you keep on touching his teeth, then you're gonna lose a hell of a lot. So yeah, anyway, and now we can able to actually have the ability to fly, which in order to do that, you need to hop into this little red feather disc. And if you manage to hop into this little red feather disc, then you would able to actually press the jump button till you go ahead and fly. So pretty awesome and swell stuff for the most part. So either way though, that's pretty much about that. And let's go ahead and go all the way over there to obtain the final Jinjo in Treasure Trove Cove. So awesome and swell stuff at the same time. So nicely done. Well, I have no idea why I'm saying things like that, weirdly enough, but anyway. Something's worth mentioning for is the fact that the differences between the original game, the N64 version of Banjo-Kazooie, compared to Xbox Live Arcade versions, is that, well, usually, relatively speaking, as you can tell, I've got myself 95 musical notes, and oh yeah, there's another switch right there, just, you know, behind the lighthouse and all that stuff, which, speaking of the lighthouse, we can probably enter there now, along with the actual, you know, the mumble token that we've actually obtained, and we got 100 new musical notes now, and we'll hopefully get ourselves the last Jiggy, and we get ourselves a nice little victory fanfare. So yeah, that's what happens every time when if you 100% for everything, including like, you know, all 10 of those Jiggies, as you can see on screen. So because of that though, yeah, I think we are done with Treasure Trove Cove. Yeah, it's actually a pretty nice looking world as well, because it reminds me of so much of exploring through beaches and all that stuff though, which is always swell. So yeah, if I somehow drop from the highest height, and then if I somehow die instantly, imagine if I collected about 99 musical notes on the N64 version of Banjo-Kazooie. Basically what this means is that if I somehow lose a life, and then basically is the fact that I would able to actually gonna have to able to not only waste a life, but also I'm gonna have to able to re-grab the forms of the musical notes along with those Jinjos all over again. So because of this though, yeah, it's very similar to Super Mario 64 with the 100 coin Power Star missions kind of system. So because of that though, thankfully it's been fixed on the HD version of Banjo-Kazooie, specifically the HD port of the game, specifically the Xbox Live Arcade versions, and that was the fact that, well, obviously everything else is saved for you. So thankfully you don't need to worry about the forms of go ahead and just do, you know, do a lot of collectathon all over again if you got frustrations with it. So, especially until when it gets to the point until level 8 though. I mean, level 8 can be really drive on your nerves, even for live strainers. So, anyways though, so that's pretty much how I can usually describe about that. So, yeah, if you managed to able to actually just try to make things a bit faster, thankfully we can now able to place all the Jiggy pieces all in one particular picture. So in this case, the next world we actually unlocked is Clunker's Cavern. So, yeah, the third world in the game. So, I was quite surprised about the fact that we actually, getting some progression for the sake of time. Oh, and by the way, for those little quadrants right there, the magic quadrants I should say, these will be also important as well, because, well, we'll talk more about that whenever we're able to continue our progressioning for Banjo-Kazooie for, you know, every Tuesdays and Thursdays uploading schedules. So because of this though, that obviously Merxy is still going back on to Donkey Kong 94, during at some point in, well, as far as I like to say, until this Wednesday. So because of this though, yeah, he'll eventually finish that Let's Play up at some point. So, yeah, anyway, let's find a switch, and with that being said, I think suffice to say, we got the endings off at this point right here, well, assuming if we're able to bypass those little platforms first. So, yeah, you probably get the idea. So, yeah, join me next time on Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie, is that we're gonna be hit on to the forms of the third world in the entire game, which appears to be Clunker's Cavern. So I'll see you guys until on Thursday. Later, fellas.